staying positive, it's a load of crap. I'll explain that in just a second, but hello there and welcome back to another Friday night. I am Rafael Di Furia, back at it again, and there have been a lot of posts that I've been seeing online about ways to, how you need to stay positive during this time, how you gotta keep yourself up, and a lot of this fluffy, happy crap that just almost seems inappropriate. But not that I'm saying that being happy is a bad thing, but it's almost like I've spoken about in other videos about this kind of, what I talk about, kind of this Dolce Vita lifestyle where everybody has to like just live their best life and all that stuff. I'm not saying though, there is something bad about being happy, but there is sometimes this forced happiness. This is kind of one of these things that pizza, pasta, and amore is. It's like, yes, there's this Italy, like living in Italy, like enjoying life here. But there is something that has been a problem on YouTube for such a long time. This forced happiness, this forced, you need to be okay. We're human. It's okay not to be okay. And to say that you have to be okay 24/7, to say that you have to be doing all right is not healthy. In life, there needs to be a balance. You can't let yourself get into the negative side of things. It's better, of course, if you're staying on the positive side of things. You can't let yourself drown in sorrow, depression, or whatever might be bothering you in your life. But there are times when you need to just release it, to release that feeling, that what's going on. And the reason why I'm making this video is because I've been receiving emails and messages recently that also, there's a number of different kind of paths that these emails seem to be following. But one of them is, how are you staying positive? What are you doing to keep yourself sane during this time? What are you doing during your day? Like, what's your daily routine? And in response to, how are you keeping yourself positive? I'm not. I'm not. I'm living my life. If I have a moment, I have a moment, and then I pick up and move on. That's it. It's as simple as that. But I don't let myself get stuck in that moment. That's the important thing. What am I doing throughout my day? What is my daily routine? This is the other thing that I hear a lot of people talking about, that you need a daily routine. Otherwise, you're just going to get off. And I'm somebody, I don't know, maybe it's a creative person thing, or maybe it's just a me thing, but I'm sure there's other people out there like this, that keeping a routine doesn't work for everybody. There are a lot of people that it really works for and that need that structure in their life. But for me, if I do the exact same thing every day, if I keep the same routine all the time, that's when I feel myself falling into something negative. That's just like, all right, I wake up, I do this, I do that. I wake up, I do this, I do that. I go to sleep, I wake up, I do this, I do that. I go to sleep, rinse, wash, and repeat. It's just the same thing over again. It becomes monotonous just to have a simple day of life. And something that I have learned about myself is that doesn't necessarily work for me. So I've had to figure out for my own well-being different ways of trying to be able to live with that. I need something where I didn't have the exact same schedule every day, and that I wasn't doing the exact same thing every day. Even if I'm doing a lot of similar things, I'm just somebody who needs to keep things interesting. And that's just how it is. I'm part of the Sesame Street generation with things popping up on the screen all the time. So that's something I've realized about myself. And it's important to do self-reflection and to figure out what works for you and what doesn't work for you. There are so many people that live their lives and they fall into something and they don't even realize it until they've already fallen into it years on down the road, and they realize things are not okay. You have to keep looking at yourself and who you are and what you are and what works for you and what doesn't work for you on a regular basis. Some people need somebody to talk to about that. Some people, it's better if they don't talk to somebody about that. It's good, though, to get your thoughts out one way or the other. Often having somebody to bounce those thoughts off of works, because if you're just in your own head too much, that's when things can become really tricky as well. But again, going back to what I was saying about this forced happiness, there is also the other side, the flip side of the coin, where you see this forced distress by watching too much news, by getting too much in the moment. You can really bring yourself down and bring down what you're doing. And That's not healthy either. Do you need to stay informed? Yes. But do you need to oversaturate yourself with the situation and what's happening? That's not necessary. I'm personally at the point where I'm having a very difficult time to continue watching the news and to try to stay updated on things, because it's just like, okay, more of this same BS, more of this same horrible thing that we're dealing with. And just for my own mental health and my own well-being, I'm only taking a few minutes of my day to allow myself to get into that and look at what's happening, what's going on, and that's about it. Maybe finding out details about what I'm allowed to do and what I'm not allowed to do, because life is moving forward here. Like I've mentioned in other videos, I don't know if it was here on this channel or on the podcast that I'm a part of. I know I said it in an interview, but anyway, if you follow me on social media, you'll know that I got delivery pizza last week. That for me was something very exciting, because that was the first sense of normalcy that I've had in a long time, because I've been staying at home basically since the beginning of February, before this even became a government sanctioned thing. So I've been spending as much time at home since before it became sanctioned to do so. Is it frustrating? Yeah, but this is what the situation is, and so somehow I've got to just keep moving forward. Does that look different than how I would normally go about things? Yeah, but big deal, whatever. Just gotta keep going. Yes, sometimes you can trick yourself into being happy, and that leads to actual happiness. But there is something very dangerous about that as well, that you could trick yourself into something that's not actually real. The same could be said about a relationship though. But think about it like this. Maybe if you get into a situation, sometimes you might start seeing those red flags, but choose to ignore them because things are pretty all right. You're having fun. It's good. It's great. But at its core, you know there's something wrong. That can be said about you and yourself and your situation. It's not just a relationship with another person, but your relationship with yourself and your surroundings is also very important to take a good look at and to figure out if things are actually okay or not. And what are the problems? What are the things that you can start going after? What are the things that you can start fixing in your life? What are the things you can't fix now, but maybe you can start building some foundations? Maybe you can build on top of that and then get to that point where things will be okay. This has been my approach this whole time here on YouTube, is to highlight some of the wonderful things, but also you need to stay real. You need to stay grounded to the situation. And that's why, again, getting back to this dolce vita, pizza, pasta, amore, is that it's beautiful, it's wonderful. There are amazing things in life that are wonderful to enjoy, and it's important to enjoy them. But it is possible at the same time to start over romanticizing something, over building it up in your head to something that maybe it's not. And that's why it's important to take a realistic look at things and not just the things that are easy. Again, repeating myself, this is why I try to balance out some of my content with some things that are difficult for me, or things that might be difficult, or things that people maybe should be thinking about before moving abroad, because it's so important to take a realistic look at things. Because even I've done this, that when I've moved someplace, that I had just kind of jumped into something without doing as much research as I would have liked. In general, though, I am the type of person who really does a lot of research before buying anything or making a commitment to something or whatever. Even if it's like, if I'm wanting to buy like a memory card, I will do the research into why this memory card is better than this one, or why these two memory cards are the same because they're actually made at the same factory, or why this company is actually just the same as that company, or why two different memory cards from two different brands are actually the same thing, but one is still better than the other because the other one is just kind of the reject from the main company. Stuff like this. I'm a nerd. But I think that's important to do in other aspects of life. And I know I'm repeating myself a lot in this video, but to take that time and look at yourself, look at your situation, look at what you're going through. What can you do to keep pushing forward? I realize that for many people, they might not be cool with what I have to say. They might think that, oh, this is horrible. Why would you allow yourself to feel? Why wouldn't you allow yourself to feel? If you don't, things are just going to get built up over time and it's just going to explode and just come out in an unhealthy manner. You need to deal with things in a very healthy way. Otherwise, that can lead to problems later on in life, even problems later on in the week. You don't want to allow an unhealthy relationship with yourself, an unhealthy relationship with the situation, an unhealthy approach to many things. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying I'm a guy who has all the answers. In no way at all am I saying this. But I just felt like I wanted to rant a little bit this week, because this is something that I normally don't do here on this channel. That I've just been seeing what feels like so much of the same thing online about it's just keep yourself happy, keep yourself okay, and just creating something that, while it is great, while there is something to it, it is not necessarily the most healthy thing to do. You have to let yourself feel. You have to let yourself experience things. But you can't let yourself, if you're going through something negative, you can't let yourself sit in that. There's a difference. Anyway, I realize this has been completely different than what I normally do. So I'm just going to finish off the video here. Just keep this short this week. Short and simple. But thank you to those of you who are helping to make these videos possible, and for helping me to be able to continue with this project and to continue doing it through such a difficult moment, and for helping to keep me up. I really thank you guys so much for everything that you guys are doing. Anyway, I'll see you all next time. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing. And thank you for joining me on another Friday night, on the way to another beautiful Friday night. It does feel like we're getting closer, even though it still seems pretty far off. We're still moving forward, so that's the good news. As always, I'm Rafael Di Furia. I look forward to seeing you all next week, and I'll see you all next time. Later.